Today is Mother's Day. One of the most dreaded days for me while I was going through my 6-year infertility journey. It was the hardest day because obviously I didn't have a child. I didn't have a baby. And maybe you're in the 2-week waiting period. Maybe you just found out that you're going to need to do IVF or assisted reproduction. Maybe you've had multiple miscarriages like I did, multiple failed cycles. And this episode today is me lifting you up and giving you some hope as a person who did 6 years of infertility treatments. I did 11 IVF embryo transfers. One of those was across the country. We lived in New Jersey and we were supposed to be there on 9/11, but we couldn't get out, obviously. So we did it. We flew out on October 11th and we were right across from the New York City skyline, seeing all the smoldering buildings and wondering, is this a sign from God? Are we not supposed to have a child? All these thoughts, of course, were going on in our head. And it was really one of the most painful times in my life. And it was a time that I also tapped into the most faith I ever had in my entire life. And I'm always thinking back on that time to say, God, did you do that on purpose so that I would learn to have a faith stronger than any human being? I mean, I remember when I made my husband do a nursery and before we had a baby, right? We didn't have a baby. We weren't pregnant. We were in the middle of, it was probably our 2nd year of infertility. And people were telling him that I need medication, that I'm probably not right in my head if I'm asking him to do a nursery. And really what it was is I had faith. I had such faith. And my prayer constantly was, please, God, if it's your will, please give me a healthy biological baby that grows in my womb and that I give birth to. So I'm going to read to you, this is part of my book, Portal Tears, Drowning the Demons Beneath the Fat to Keep the Weight from Coming Back. Steve, if you want to put the link up for that. And I have a special Mother's Day deal. I think it's like 20% off. I think it is. I don't remember. It's like 20 or 25% off on special for Mother's Day. And so this is an excerpt from my book, Portal Tears, that I'm going to read to you today just to uplift, encourage, bless all of you infertility warriors out there who are still waiting for your rainbow after the storm. Hello and welcome to Worthy Woman Healing Podcast. I'm Lisa Czak, the host. Thank you so much for subscribing. As I just mentioned, on today's episode, I'm reading you an excerpt from my book, Portal Tears. And this is dedicated to all of the mamas out there who are in the midst of the 2-week wait, who maybe just lost a baby or have lost a baby like I had, and who just really want more than anything to become a mama. I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Drop a heart in comments if you are going through infertility this Mother's Day. And I'm going to go ahead and read this now, okay? Today is Mother's Day. Even seeing my own mom is a reminder of the failure I am as a woman. I can't even perform the most basic biological act of getting pregnant. I have a lump in my throat and my stomach is churning. It is dread of the day ahead, the day of the mother. The day that involves the title I have been trying to achieve month after failed month. In church, do I stand up when they ask moms to stand up? I just had 4 good quality embryos implanted in me. Am I a mom? Will that jinx it? Or will it send a clear message to God that I believe this cycle will work? I don't tell anyone after I do a cycle now. I've done enough to know that it leads to the question, when are you going to find out? You'd think by now they'd know it's 2 weeks or later. It's always 2 fucking weeks later. I don't want to hear their voices lower and their heads tilt when I tell them the cycle didn't work. No, I'm not pregnant again. Their pity does not help me, so I stay silent. I hope, pray, beg God, the universe, the patron saint of unborn babies, to help me find her. I even bought Winston, the fertility bear, my soul baby. I can feel her feminine power on an energetic level. I know she is out there. I know she has been inside me since the day I was born, just waiting for me to become her mama. I visualize her. She has her daddy's big brown eyes, chubby dimpled cheeks, my pointy chin, a feisty yet gentle soul. My smile and a hand so soft, it feels like butter melting into my hand. My vision is what gets me through losing over 50 embryos implanted in me, 3 miscarriages, countless IUI cycles, 11 IVFs, 2 out-of-state cycles in New Jersey, taking out a second mortgage and maxing out credit cards to invest in fertility treatments, my husband's suicidal ideation, blaming himself for having a low sperm count, 6 motherless Mother's Days, living infertile in a fertile world. My vision is greater than all of that. My vision makes anything else irrelevant. I am clear on what I want. The rest is easy. Until the day I finally hold her, my soul baby, my soul connection, my daughter, my rainbow, after my 6-year, 18-hour, and 1-minute storm. My Eliana faith. Eliana means God has answered our prayers. Faith means being certain of what you cannot see. I turned my vision into reality. It is not a gift. It is a skill. And here I am holding my rainbow after a 6-year storm. You are only as sick as your secrets. It is time to stop suffering in silence and join other women who are also on a healing journey, who are being raw, real, vulnerable, and honest with what they are going through in their life, what they have been through in their life. And wherever 2 or more are gathered, we know God is with us. It says it right there in the Bible. So there is power to group healing. Miracles happen in there. You have one woman sharing, opening up her heart. Suddenly everyone else in the group is saying, yeah, I've experienced that. I'm not the only one. There's such power in knowing that you are not alone in your suffering. You are not alone in your healing. And we meet twice a month. And in between those times, a lot happens, right? And it's important that you have time in between the sessions to practice the healing technique that I teach you, so you can come back into the group and celebrate with the other women, Hey, I actually remembered to do the healing technique in that moment. That trigger didn't derail me anymore. But it's practice. I'm also a personal trainer, right? You don't just get a six-pack abs by doing one sit-up. You have to keep doing it over and over again. You don't run a marathon. You don't go out and run 13.1 miles for a half marathon the first time, right? You practice running a little bit every day. And that is what we do in Worthy Woman Healing Group. Join today and tell yourself, I'm going to give this a 3-month commitment minimum because I know I need time to practice outside of these sessions, and come in and get guidance from the other women on how to actually heal all of these wounds, heal my mind, body, and soul one trigger at a time. You are worth it. I also want to share something with you that I found in my garage just a couple days ago. I'm going through something in my life right now that requires a lot of faith, and I was kind of doubting God. It kind of reminded me of infertility, and what I'm going through right now actually reminds me of infertility because it has to do with my daughter. And so one random day, I'm out in the garage. I hate going in the garage, by the way. I can't stand going. I avoid it at all costs. I won't even walk through the garage because we look like we have a hoarder garage, right? There's so many boxes and stuff out there. And just randomly, a couple days ago on a Sunday, I'm out in my pajamas and I go out to the garage. No, for no reason in particular either. It's not like I was saying, hey, I'm going to go out into the garage to get this. I just went into the garage and I started unpacking boxes for some reason. And there was this box that was all ripped up, a pink box that was all ripped up and had just random junk in it. And I felt called to look in that box. And I saw a bunch of papers and I almost just threw the papers in a trash bag, was going to be done with it, until I noticed this picture. Hopefully you can see this. And this picture, this is me and my husband and our rainbow after the storm, after our 6-year infertility storm. And these are all of the babies that we had to witness being born before we had our baby, which, as you know, infertility warriors, that's really hard to watch other people getting pregnant effortlessly, easily, making love one night, and bam, there comes a baby, right? So we had to endure all these other boys that you see here, my precious nephews. And we had to endure watching all of that in our 6-year infertility journey. And I was like, oh, that's sweet, right? And then I kind of dropped the picture and didn't realize that this picture was, can you see? Hopefully you can see that. This picture was on the back of it. I didn't even know this picture existed. I don't ever remember it being there. And this is my husband and I right here. And if you look, I don't know if you can see our faces, we look like we're in pain. And we were 2 years into our infertility journey. And notice our first nephew, that was our first nephew that was born. That was super painful for us that Christmas, right? We were 2 years into infertility. This baby was born. All the eyes are on the first grandchild in my husband's family. And they'd set him in the middle of the room, we'd sit in a circle around him and watch him. Super painful for us. And I look back on this picture and I see my husband and I here, not knowing we would still have 4 more years of infertility treatments. We would still have, I don't know, probably 10 more IVFs we were going to go through. Countless embryos we lost. 2-week waiting periods, right? Hundreds in that time. Crazy. We didn't know. And I think back, like, I'm so glad that we didn't give up, that we kept the faith, that we kept going, that we persevered through it. And this was just a reminder to me from God saying, Look at these two. Look at you and your husband. You were faithful. You trusted, you believed, right? Talk about being out of your control. Having a baby is completely out of your control. We have no control over getting pregnant. I mean, you do the act. For us, we were doing assisted reproduction, and you have no control. And so it's just so crazy to me to see how here we were 2 years in, and then 4 years later, here we are. This is us with our newborn baby. Isn't that crazy? And you can see the looks on our faces. In this, look at how happy we look, right? This compared to this when we were 2 years into infertility. That was us right there. That was 2 years in. I just wanted to share that with you. And it's just a reminder to me this Mother's Day to keep the faith.